Hey there XRP family, welcome back to the XRP Insider channel. It's so great to have you here with me once again. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day, no matter where you are in this beautiful world of ours. Today, we're diving deep into some seriously exciting XRP news, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. So let's jump right in with something that's got everyone talking. Ripple's executive, Justin T. Rex, just launched a 2 times long XRP ETF, and honestly, everyone and their grandmother wants a piece of this cryptocurrency action right now. But here's what's been bugging me. Where on earth is BlackRock in all of this? I mean, seriously, they're just sitting there watching all these massive inflows and new XRP ETFs launching left, right, and center. There's instant demand everywhere you look, and they're not jumping on this gold mine? Now, some people still think BlackRock's going to make their move this month, and here's my theory. I genuinely believe there's a rock-solid NDA between Ripple and BlackRock. Something big is brewing behind the scenes, folks. Speaking of regulatory drama, the SEC just threw a wrench into ProShares' plans. They've blocked them from launching new 3 times leverage crypto funds. We're talking 3 times Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and yes, our beloved XRP. The SEC's basically saying these funds break their leverage rules, so ProShares needs to either fix their filings or pack up and go home. Here's what went down. They tried to go above that 2 times leverage limit, and once you cross that line, things get seriously risky. The SEC slammed on the brakes and said, not so fast. You're not getting away with pushing 3 times leverage like that. My prediction? They'll probably scale it back to 2 times, and then we'll see it go live. Makes sense, right? Now, here's where things get really interesting. Ripple's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, just dropped this bombshell. He says 2026 is shaping up to be the most bullish year in crypto history. But wait a minute, why is everyone suddenly talking about 2026? We haven't even finished 2025 yet. I still believe we're going to see some solid action this December that'll carry us beautifully into next year.
What's your take on this too? Do you think the ETF floor was overhyped?
Definitely no. Look, obviously what you were describing is all data correct, but I think you got to zoom out a little bit further and realize that this ETFs didn't exist because of the regulatory problems in the United States. They didn't exist, and in the last 2 or 3 weeks, over $700 million have flown into XRP ETFs. Which is just it's pent-up demand from institutional investors, from investors who want access because they don't want to custody themselves, what have you. But look, again, if you zoom out to the macro level, the total ETF market, only 1 or 2% of the total ETF market is crypto. I will bet anybody here that a year from now, that will be more than 1 or 2%. There's going to continue to be inflows, and yes, you can take a snapshot of time and say, okay, there's a billion left Bitcoin ETFs or whatever the data you cited a moment ago. But if you zoom out a little bit further and say, okay, over 2026, do we really think crypto ETFs are only going to be 1 or 2% of the total ETF market? No chance. And so that again, it's one of those macro tailwinds where Ripple sits in a position where we see, particularly from our Ripple Prime, the prime brokerage business, we see a lot of interesting activity where institutions that have been on the sidelines, maybe because of regulatory clarity, maybe because of risk aversion, for whatever reasons they've been on the sidelines, they're getting involved. And they're starting small, and they're going to walk, then they're going to crawl, then they're going to walk, then they're going to run. And I think it's going to create a lot of tailwind.
So this moment in the market hasn't necessarily spooked institutional capital. That's what you're saying?
Definitely not.
So Brad's painting this picture where institutions are going to flood in throughout 2026 with massive inflows pouring into ETFs all year long. Now here's my big question. If that's the case, how can XRP possibly experience any major pullbacks? Think about it logically. If we start seeing this massive run-up on XRP, those pullbacks are going to be tiny. I'm talking about continued upward movement throughout the entire year of 2026. But the million-dollar question everyone's asking is, how are we going to finish this year? What's going to happen by the end of December? If I had to put my money where my mouth is right now, I think we're hitting that all-time high before the month wraps up. But here's the kicker. I believe we're going to keep climbing throughout 2026. If institutions are really going to flood in next year, like Brad suggests, we could see something absolutely massive. Still, I'd love to see some serious price movement before we close out this year. Wouldn't you? Now, let's talk about something that's absolutely blowing my mind. XRP ETFs are breaking records left and right. Get this, the spot XRP ETFs just became the second fastest in history to cross $800 million in inflows. They beat both Ethereum and Solana products. Let that sink in for a moment. XRP ETFs launched 2 weeks later than the competition and still outran Solana. We're talking about XRP hitting $844.99 million in net inflows in just 13 trading days. That's absolutely huge. This is exactly why I said we'd hit that billion-dollar mark way quicker than most people thought possible. At this pace, we're probably looking at $2 billion per month flowing into these ETFs. And here's what's really exciting. We still need to see if this momentum picks up even more steam. Remember, 21 Shares hasn't even gone live yet. Imagine what happens when they join the party. People are expecting 21 Shares alone to absolutely crush all the other ETFs when it goes live. Will that actually happen? We'll have to wait and see, but I'll tell you this much, it's getting absolutely wild with the amount of money pouring into these ETFs right now. I honestly don't think anyone saw this level of demand coming. Now check this out. Here's the complete list of all XRP ETFs that are now available to Vanguard's massive 50 million client base. Pretty impressive, right? And as more ETFs go live, they'll keep adding to this list. Vanguard jumping in didn't shock me one bit, and here's why. They've been quietly building and expanding their crypto offerings behind the scenes for a while now. Here's the golden rule. Never listen to what these big financial players say in the mainstream media. What really matters is what they're doing in the background, and Vanguard's actions speak volumes. Speaking of predictions, Brad Garlinghouse just dropped a massive one. He's predicting Bitcoin will hit $180,000 next year. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
I'll go out on the limb and I'll say Bitcoin 180,000 December 23rd or December 31st, 2026.
All right, where's the prediction market around that now? It'll be live in 2 seconds.
Now, if you've been following Raoul Pal, he's calling for Bitcoin's top to come in during the second quarter of next year. Personally, I think it might happen even sooner than that. But Brad's painting a picture where Bitcoin just keeps running throughout the entire year. If that scenario plays out, folks, that's going to be incredibly bullish for the entire crypto market. I'm really hoping we see XRP decouple from Bitcoin at some point during this run. Who knows? Maybe XRP will still end up flipping Bitcoin after all. Wouldn't that be something? Let's shift gears and talk about some major regulatory news. The SEC is introducing new crypto innovation rules as part of a pro-industry push. This is huge. Here's what they're working on. Brand new rules designed to speed up innovation. Plus, they're supporting fresh crypto legislation to provide clear guidance for companies. They're literally giving these firms a roadmap to success. The SEC is also planning new policies to help crypto companies go public. It looks like Atkins isn't slowing down at all. In fact, he's trying to get things done even without waiting for Congress. That's exactly what we need to see. Remember Gary Gensler? He just went along with whatever Elizabeth Warren told him to do. Atkins represents a complete 180 from where we were with Gensler, and I absolutely love the direction we're heading. This is only going to add massive strength to the crypto market over time. Now, here's something that's going to blow your mind. Upbit just posted $1.86 billion in 24-hour trading volume. And guess who's leading the entire exchange? That's right, XRP. Look at these numbers. XRP pulled in $344 million in volume. Bitcoin hit $322 million, and Ethereum managed $185 million. I'm telling you right now, it's just a matter of time until XRP flips Ethereum completely. Korean traders are absolutely crushing it with XRP, consistently favoring it over Bitcoin and Ethereum when it comes to volume. Just wait until this trend starts happening on all the other major exchanges around the world. That day is going to be absolutely glorious to witness. Here's the thing about the United States market right now, and this is our biggest challenge. When new investors come into this space after watching mainstream media, where do they put their money? Bitcoin and Ethereum, because every celebrity on the daily news keeps telling them Bitcoin is amazing and everything else is garbage. But here's what happens when someone actually gets into this space and starts doing their own research. When they start looking at the direction the world is heading, they see XRP as the clear winner. Why? Because XRP continues to outperform everything else time and time again. Every single time people count XRP out, it makes this massive, incredible rebound. Every time they call it a dead coin, it suddenly breaks out and surprises everyone. People say it'll never hit this price point or that price point. And what does XRP do? It proves them wrong time and time again. And what's everybody saying right now? Oh, it's never going to get above $10 based on previous cycles and market cap. Sound familiar? Well, get ready for XRP to absolutely shock all of them. I know it's heading to double digits. And honestly, after that, I have no idea where we're going from there. It's going to depend on what's happening with the circulating supply and other factors. But I genuinely believe this is going to be the most shocking run XRP investors have ever witnessed. Speaking of shocking developments, let's talk about this massive liquidity surge we're seeing on the market. This could very well be the long-awaited sign that investors have been waiting for, the one that marks the beginning of a serious market recovery. The latest XRP ledger data is absolutely mind-blowing. We just saw a payment volume spike that stands out even in what's been an incredibly volatile year. On December 2nd, the XRP ledger processed roughly 2.23 billion XRP in payments. Let me put that in perspective. This marks the second biggest single-day payment volume spike we've seen in the last 365 days. This is a network that normally operates at much lower throughput levels. So seeing this kind of structural anomaly is huge. But here's the million-dollar question. How does this factor into XRP's price? From an on-chain perspective, this surge signals that large holders, institutional pipelines, or automated liquidity systems are actively moving significant capital around. Now, regardless of which direction the market's moving, the XRP ledger gets used for settlement, arbitrage, and liquidity routing. So this doesn't always mean bullish accumulation is happening. However, and this is important, spikes of this size typically come right before more significant price movements. They're usually associated with periods of increased repositioning, and that's exactly what I think we're witnessing right now. I believe what's happening on the XRP ledger is simple. Everybody's getting prepared for what comes next. A massive breakout is loading up, and it's literally going to come out of nowhere. I'm telling you right now, you're going to wake up one day and be absolutely shocked when you look at XRP's price. When this cryptocurrency moves, it always moves violently. It rockets to the upside incredibly fast and leaves so many people in the dust. It's happened before, and it's going to happen again. We saw it during that epic run in 2017, and it's going to repeat in 2025, but at a much higher level this time. Why? Because there's absolutely nothing holding this cryptocurrency back anymore. Going forward, it's catalyst after catalyst after catalyst for XRP. If Brad's predictions are right, we're not going to see any major pullbacks in 2026. If we do get pullbacks, they're going to be tiny, minor corrections. And if he's right about this, 2026 could also be the year we finally start seeing utility actually driving XRP's price. This also perfectly aligns with what David Schwartz said months ago. He mentioned that institutional adoption was 12 to 24 months away, and that was about 7 or 8 months ago now. Do the math. We're right on the verge of that institutional adoption wave hitting. That institutional adoption is going to quickly lead us into mass adoption. And as all of this unfolds, XRP's price is going to reflect exactly what's happening behind the scenes. We're going to see these incredible spikes mixed with gradual upward movement. That's exactly what I think is coming. And I believe it's starting this month. This could begin at any moment, and when it does, it's going to run for a very, very long time. What do you think, XRP family? Are you as excited as I am about what's coming? Can you feel that energy building? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to smash that like button if this analysis got you pumped up about XRP's future.